basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
So, people who voted for him and were hyping this man up for the past, 5 years, when you were saying president of peace, did part of that involve what's going on in Iran? Maybe you voted for him because he's going to end the Russian-Ukraine war in 24 hours. Good to see how that's going. We're still giving the same amount of money to Ukraine, and Russia's still invading them. Good job. Maybe you were one of those people who thought he was going to stand up to Israel and tell them how it is. But instead he's giving more money to Israel, so that way when they're done wiping out all the people in Gaza, his son-in-law can build a nice golf course on that land. Maybe you voted for him because you thought that he was going to be so good on immigration, get all the scary illegals out, right? But instead he's letting in 17 members of El Chapo's family in a personal deal he made with them.
I am tired of dealing with people who are rooting for America to fail. I want to embrace America's victories. And this was a major victory for the United States of America. Is everything perfect? Of course not. Are the mullahs going to play ball? Probably not. Is Iran going to retaliate? Quite possibly. And we have to be prepared for what comes next. But stopping Iran's nuclear ambitions is a righteous, just, correct thing to do. And it's time we stand up and cheer for the United States of America.
Yesterday, Trump, without congressional approval, bombed Iran. And here's the part of this that I don't see a lot of people talking about. Donald Trump, in his first term, is the one who pulled the United States out of the Iran nuclear deal. Do you want to read up on all this yourself so that you can respond to all of the MAGA sycophants who undoubtedly are going to be twisting themselves into knots, trying to explain why there are no wars, president starting a war is actually a good thing? Check out this article from ABC News. It's from June of this year. It breaks all of this down really simply so that you can respond to each and every one of those maggots as they twist themselves into a pretzel explaining why the decisions and the hypocrisy of their dear leader are actually great and America first.
The markets ripped today due to the Iran and USA conflict. Earlier today, Iran attacked U.S. bases in Qatar, but no casualties happened. Nobody died and nothing was destroyed. This was expected because Iran contacted the U.S. president saying that they would do this, and this was expected to happen. This morning, President Trump tweeted out, "Keep oil prices down," and they did. Oil prices fell, Bitcoin went up, crypto went up, and stocks closed higher. All of this went as expected. This is not a war. This is all a show, and investors seen this coming from a mile away. Stay in touch with the markets, hit me a follow, let's get rich together, and don't forget to hit a like and join my free Telegram community, link in my bio.
Breaking news, Iran has hit a couple of nuclear bases in Qatar that are connected to the USA. What does that mean? That means that the war is far from over and the peace talks aren't even going to kick in before the shit hits the fan, and it already has hit the fan, to be honest, but we don't even know the full consequences of this is going to have globally on everyone. The Iranian regime is run by a madman, and Donald Trump is a madman, and Russia has now got involved. They said they would give nuclear arms to Iran. So what does this mean as well? It means get ready for the next few days of absolute mayhem and carnage. Pray for the world.
Khamenei doesn't understand how Trump plays Washington politics. Iranian nuclear technology has not been destroyed at all. Fordo still stands. Even if Trump would have destroyed Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan, the Iranian nuclear technology still stands in the country. Trump is bombing Fordo, Natanz, Isfahan as a matter of political theater to be able to give a piece of meat to the war-hungry Washington. So he can say, look, we solved the Iranian nuclear threat, now ceasefire. Netanyahu played along with this and said, the Iranian nuclear threat is gone, now ceasefire. Ayatollah Khamenei needs to play along with this. But if Iran now bombs Israel and Israel will retaliate as a break of the ceasefire, it's a little bit unclear what's going to happen.
Did anyone else find it interesting that Trump said he would take 2 weeks to decide what he's going to do about Iran? But guess what else happens in 2 weeks? They vote on his big, beautiful bill. I just think that timing is a little interesting, that's all.
And President Trump doesn't have the appetite for a war with Iran. There's nothing inconsistent, not one word, in the way Trump ran for office and the way he's handled this crisis. He was never an isolationist. I'm sorry, he wasn't. Part of MAGA is far more than Trump is. We discussed this when I interviewed Marco Rubio, talking about the factions of the party. Trump's got a foot in both camps. And Trump has not been shy about using American power where it made strategic sense. And he thought that it would well serve the United States. There was a tweet that Noah Pollack put out just this weekend, which was excellent. It reads as follows. This endless war shrieking is ridiculous. Trump bombed the Houthis for 6 weeks, then ended it. He fought ISIS for around 2 years, defeated them, then ended it. Trump killed Soleimani and did not engage further.
Did the U.S. actually have intelligence that Iran was pursuing a nuclear weapon? Margaret Brennan of Face the Nation asked Secretary of State Marco Rubio that very question yesterday. Rubio's response? It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant, meaning that the U.S. doesn't have intelligence that Iran is pursuing a nuclear weapon. According to Rubio, they have the ingredients to build a bomb, and that's all that matters. Well, you could walk into any garage in this country and probably find enough ingredients to build a bomb. Does that mean that the person that lives in that home is actually going to build a bomb? You see, this kind of logic, this is the kind of stuff that authoritarians do. Now, let's be clear. I do not support Iran's regime. I do not support theocracy. And this is why I do not support Donald Trump.
Here are 10 years of Iranian tensions explained in 60 seconds. Back in 2015, the world struck a deal with Iran. The US, UK, France, China, Russia and Germany all signed on. The agreement, Iran would stop its nuclear program, and in return, crippling sanctions would be lifted. This wasn't some fluffy handshake. It was the strictest nuclear inspection regime in history. 24/7 surveillance, 97% of their uranium shipped out to Russia, centrifuges dismantled, and for 3 years, Iran stuck to the deal. But in 2018, Trump tore it up, called it the worst deal ever. Why? He said it only paused Iran's nukes temporarily, didn't stop their ballistic missile program, and let them keep funding terror groups like Hezbollah. He wanted a tougher, broader deal, so he reimposed sanctions. The idea? To squeeze Iran's economy. So hard they'd crawl back to the table. They didn't. Instead, Iran went back to enriching uranium, blocked inspections, ignored the West. Israel ramped up warnings. Biden tried negotiations. That failed. Trump tried again. That also failed. So now Trump bombs 3 of Iran's nuclear sites. And here's where we are. Iran either come to the table or retaliates. If they retaliate, this escalates. Big time. Oil prices spike. People die, more countries get dragged in. If they negotiate, expect the hardest deal ever proposed. Either way, the can's been kicked to the end of the road. There are no good options left. It's bend or break. Drop your thoughts in the comments because this one's going to explode.
For years, for decades really, Iran has pursued nuclear weapons. Well, Iran has expressed a desire to eliminate the state of Israel. Where the state of Iran has been a sponsor of terrorism, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and beyond. And where at least in our opinion, Canada has listed the Iranian Revolutionary Guard as a terrorist organization, active terrorist organization. These are violations of international law. these are the ones we look to. Thank you.
I think the Americans are preparing to do that. It would be an odd thing for the Israelis to attack various aspects of Iran's nuclear program, but to leave the biggest, most deeply buried, most capable sites untouched. The Israelis have not targeted the Fordo underground plant yet because they know they can't do any damage to it. So I think there is a justification for the Americans to come in, and frankly I think the sooner they do it the better, because it gives a chance to draw a line under this conflict, destroy as much of the nuclear program as you can, and then start from a new beginning.
I mean, the sooner it's done, the better, but, you know, the Iranians are threatening irreparable harm in return. We're kind of unleashing untold consequences, aren't we?
The biggest problem would be if the regime survives and the nuclear program is still largely intact.
It's an important question, and it's one, frankly, the media has been getting wrong. Let's be very clear. Iran has all that it needs to achieve a nuclear weapon. All they need is a decision from the supreme leader to do that. And it would take a couple of weeks to complete the production of that weapon, which would, of course, pose an existential threat, not just to Israel, but to the United States and to the entire world. And that is something that the entire world, including countries like Russia, is in agreement with, that Iran should not and cannot obtain a nuclear weapon. And that's why the president believes that, and he's believed that, again, not just his political career, but frankly, his entire life.